Hello all, this is Keith again. Welcome to KeithSpeaks, where we watch the pattern, not the propaganda. Today I'll be talking about something that should be taught in every history class, but isn't. How slavery never actually ended in America. It just changed addresses. And right now we're watching it happen again in real time, with immigration detention. Same playbook, different population, but the same constitutional loophole that's been exploited for over 150 years. Let me show you the thread. Here's what the 13th Amendment actually says. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States. Let me say that again. Except as a punishment for crime. That's not abolition. That's relocation with a legal exception. Slavery didn't end in 1865. It got a business model update. You can't own people outright anymore, but you can still exploit their labor if you convict them of a crime first. You've got a captive workforce that can't negotiate wages, can't quit, can't organize, can't leave. And here's the genius of it for the system. Taxpayers fund the imprisonment while private companies profit from the labor. Companies get workers at cents per dollar while billing the government full price for detention services and security. This isn't history. This is operational policy right now. After the Civil War ended, Southern states immediately understood the loophole. They passed black codes, laws that criminalized being unemployed, vagrancy, not having written proof of employment. Essentially, they made it illegal to be a free black person. Then came convict leasing. Newly freed black men were arrested on these manufactured charges, convicted, and then leased back to the same plantations they'd just been freed from. Same work, same conditions, just with a legal structure now. It continued through chain gangs, building infrastructure across the South, through debt peonage and sharecropping that trapped families in cycles they couldn't escape, through Jim Crow laws that criminalized black existence and fed bodies into the system. Fast forward to the 1970s and 80s, the war on drugs, mandatory minimums, 3 strikes laws, mass incarceration targeting black and brown communities. By the 1990s, private prison companies were trading on the stock market. Their business model required bodies, lots of them, to generate profit. The thread runs straight from 1865 to today. Use the criminal justice system to create a captive labor force under constitutional exception. And now we're seeing the next evolution. $10 billion just got handed to private prison companies to build new detention facilities. If the goal was deportation, you don't need that infrastructure. You need planes and buses. But if the long-term goal is long-term detention, if the goal is creating a captive labor force, then you need exactly what they're building. Here's how it works. Immigration courts are deliberately bottlenecked. Fewer judges mean slower processing. Cases that should take weeks now take months or years. During that time, detained immigrants are held at these facilities. And under the 13th Amendment exception, except as punishment for crime, being in the country without documentation becomes the crime that justifies forced labor. You've got skilled workers, construction, agriculture, manufacturing, service industries, now detained indefinitely while their labor can be exploited. They work for pennies while private companies charge taxpayers full freight for their detention. Tom Holman just told you the game himself. He said, more people in jail means less people in the street. Not more people deported, more people in jail. That's the metric. Incarceration, not removal. Now here's the newest evolution, and this is where the order out of chaos plays out. After the public outcry over family separation, kids in cages, mothers crying at the border, the system responds with what looks like a more humane solution: family detention facilities. They're selling this as compassionate. We're keeping families together. But watch the pattern. These facilities still detain families for extended periods while the bottleneck system processes them. Parents are still subject to forced labor under the 13th Amendment exception. Children are still confined, but now it has the appearance of being more humane because they're detained together instead of separated. It's the same captivity, just with better optics. And here's the result. You're removing black and brown people from society. They're not in communities, not in neighborhoods, not visible on the streets. They're behind walls and facilities, out of sight, working for free or pennies, generating profit for private companies while the public is told this is all about security and order. This is how you disappear populations without the messiness of mass deportation. You just hold them indefinitely in legal limbo under constitutional exception. From 1865 to 2026, the thread is unbroken. Emancipation, black codes and convict policing. Reconstruction, chain gangs and debt peonage. Jim Crow, criminalization and imprisonment. War on drugs, mass incarceration in private prisons. 2026, immigration detention as the new captive labor source. Every time, the 13th Amendment exception is the legal foundation. Every time, it's sold as law and order. Every time, it targets black and brown populations. Every time, someone profits while taxpayers fund it. The system doesn't need to change the Constitution. The loophole has been there since 1865, waiting to be applied to whomever the system decides doesn't deserve freedom. Slavery didn't end. It evolved. It found new legal structures, new target populations, new profit models, but the mechanism is the same. Criminalize existence, incarcerate bodies, exploit labor under the constitutional exception. If you're seeing this thread, if you're connecting these dots, please do drop a comment. More importantly, share this, because they're counting on people not knowing their own history. They're counting on people not reading that accept clause. This is Keith Speaks, where we air out the BS. Watch the pattern, and we're not letting this one stay hidden. I'm Keith. Stay aware, stay sharp, and remember, the 13th Amendment never abolished slavery. It just gave it a legal address. Hopefully I'll see you on the next one.